Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast. As we like to say, your home for all things Washington Commanders. Make sure you're liking our comment, leaving a comment, liking the podcast, subscribing on all podcast platforms, and just keeping it real with your crew because we keep it real with you. That's a bar. I just made that up. All right. So anyway, you guys will notice I have my Orioles hat on. Yes, I'm an Orioles fan. I was since I was a little kid, but I'm also rocking my Commanders jacket. And for the first time, actually ever, I went out this weekend and I bought a Commanders jersey, and it's the JD5, the white jerseys that they're going to be wearing this week. I went out and got a Jayden Daniels jersey this weekend. So I've been given a lot of jerseys in my lifetime from gifts and things like that, but I'm an official purchaser of a Commanders jersey, and I like it. I didn't wear it tonight, but I do like it. So there it is. Fellas, how you doing?
I am hanging in there. What was your first jersey? This is a first question for you guys. First jersey, Redskins, Commanders, whatever.
The first jersey I ever owned was a Tom Brady jersey because that's what Kohl's had. My mom took me to Kohl's. It was like you can get something, and there was like this really cheap version of Tom Brady jersey. My first Commanders jersey was a John Riggins jersey I bought off of eBay, actually, I think, or maybe Amazon, like way back when. And it was really nice. It was stitched. It was like a Mitchell & S jersey that I got for $28. So I think it was like more like Fred and Ness, but it was really nice. But everybody liked it. Every time I saw, oh, where'd you get that from? Yeah. So that was my first.
What about you, Mike?
My first Skins jersey, I don't like it. So if y'all want to clown me for it, please be my guest. Dana Stubblefield, man.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, I remember that year.
And I learned my neighbor across the street, well, now my cousin, he taught me how to rip the name off the back of the jerseys. And as soon as he told me that, I went home and ripped the mess off that joint. But my favorite, my first non-Redskins jersey, though, I think everybody had this jersey. It was a classic. The black 24 Charles Woodson jersey. That joint had the streets in the chokehold. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
that jersey, man.
Yeah, the Marshall Faulk Rams 28 jersey had the streets in the chokehold, and the Eddie George
and Vic.
Yeah,
everybody had a Vic.
Everybody had the Vic jersey. I do remember that. I think
the old one and the new Falcons design. I remember everybody had it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna date myself on this one. You still got that Dana Stubblefield jersey, don't you? It's a Deron Payne now, right? You just keep changing the nameplate on the back. Yeah. I'm gonna date myself on this one. My first one was a Ricky Sanders back in right after they won that Super Bowl 22, and he had all those yards. My dad went out and found me one somewhere. I think he had it actually like made because like we used to have this store at our mall where you could like buy the jersey template and you can get the numbers on it and then get the nameplate if you want it like that. So he went and that was like my I think it was a birthday present I remember it was a present. He got it for me. I was super. I wore that thing. I wore the heck out of that thing. My I wish I still had it because that's the only one that would still be relevant today. I've had some duds. Well, I had a Darryl Green, I guess, for a while too. So I guess that's not a dud, but it was a Bobo like Reebok jersey. But yeah, I don't do the jersey thing anymore. It's not. No. I learned my lesson with the Brian Arakpo was the last one. I'm like, dude, this is it. I'm never because they're cursed. Everyone I get, the guy leaves the team. I don't want to deal with that.
My dad bought me a RG3 jersey in 2012, and I think I told you guys Kirk Cousins signed it for me at training camp.
That's awesome.
So I still have that one too. It's got a bunch of signatures.
That's hilarious.
So I never wore it, but. Let's talk real quick about Pittsburgh. That was a tough game to witness, I think, for a lot of reasons. But Eric, what's your initial reaction to that Pittsburgh loss?
I'm not as disheartened. It was annoying. I wasn't a big fan. I called it I predicted last week that they weren't going to win. They were going to lose a close game, and they did. The way they lost kind of stunk because they really had a chance to win. It went right down to the end. That you can say what you want about that. Zach Ertz, was he far enough? It looked like he was to me. But the fact that it even came down to that, it's just this team is young and growing, and it's maybe not quite there yet. I don't think we're winning the Super Bowl this year. But there's a lot to like about that game as well. So I'm not down on the team. I've seen some people get down on the team a little bit. It's one game. The second half of the season is tougher than the first half of the season, just the way it lined up. So yeah, it sucked, but I'm not disheartened at all.
Okay. Mike, what about you?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still mad. Like you see it on the caption right there. I'm still mad. Like I hate the way that we lost more than the fact that we lost. Like I'm a Skins fan, I'm a Commanders fan. I know losing. I could handle L's. Like I can handle L's, don't get me wrong. But from the referee to the muff punts to the drop passes to the blown calls, it was a lot that had to happen for us to lose. And the fact that it was only 1 point. Like, how many times do NFL games even come down to 1 point? Like, even that was like just twisting the knife in the wound. So, luckily, we play Philly really quickly, and hopefully, we can get a W. But you'll see at the end of the show.
I'm upset as well. I feel like what it told me was we've set a new expectation for ourselves, and that is great. But it sucks now that we have the new expectation and we lost, because like if we got blown out by the Steelers, I think I'd be in a better place right now than, like you said, Mike. Since it was such a close game, we had a chance to win. We were leading in the second half by 10 points right at 1 point, and we just let it go away.
I would be madder if we got blown out by I think a blowout would have been, I would have been like same old team. But
Yeah.
that doesn't the closeness of the loss. There was too many mistakes that led to the loss. Just shows that we're a young team. I don't know, man. I would have been much more upset if we'd been blown out like we were against like Chicago or something last year.
Well, but the point you're making is that we're a young team, but it wasn't our young players making those mistakes, and that's the problem. Benjamin St. Juste is not a young player. Zach Ertz had so many drops, and then he ran that route short of the sticks.
It was not short of the sticks.
He came back to the ball when he didn't need to.
I guarantee you that's a design, though. You're just counting on your guy to make the play, because they're playing you. If you go past the sticks or to the sticks, they're going to be right on top of it to break it up. You run short, make a play. That's my opinion. Me and Cliff Kingsbury talk a lot, and that's what he told me.
Noah Brown had several drops. De'Ami Brown not a young player anymore. Several drops.
What happened? You know what? Halfway through the game was Zacchaeus. I was like, why is he letting? And I thought maybe it was like the left-footed punter was throwing him. And I'm like, no, this dude catches punts from Tress Way all day. So no, that's not it. I don't know what the deal was, but he just forgot how to catch punts, man. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I know we usually
He forgot how to
I know we usually don't go around twice with like predictions. I mean, not like takes from the previous game, but
no, it's fine.
Sunday showed us the difference between a talented team with great coaching and a team that's not as talented with great coaching.
Yeah.
Like the Steelers, they've been together, they have continuity, they have great coaching. They basically outwilled us on Sunday because of the talent, because of the coaching. I'm not going to like beat up on St. Juste like everybody else has. Like he's been taking a beating, but at the same time, there's a difference between players like him not making plays or whatever. And the flip side, you got the Steelers with Patrick Queen. I know I'm comparing a cornerback to a linebacker or whatever, but like that's the type of talent that you need to compete on a high level, on an elite level. And Washington just isn't there yet. We may have one blue chip player on the entire team, and that's the quarterback. And I'm not trying to disrespect the other players on the roster, but it is what it is. Like, we have to remind ourselves this is year one of a rebuild. I have to remind myself this is year one of a rebuild. Like Ali said earlier, expectations has risen. But at the same time, like I said earlier, it just sucks when you're that close, but so far away.
Well, rebuild is a state of the moment thing for me. Like if you're a really bad team and you're And you know why I say that? Because a rebuild includes draft picks. And if you're playing to win, you're 7-3, you're no longer in a rebuild because you're going to be picking in the 20s. That's not a rebuild. You understand what I'm saying? Like a rebuild is a fundamental exercise that you are intending to get as high as a draft pick as possible to add to your roster, and you're going to build through young talent. This offseason is not going to be a rebuild, right? You're going to try to put pieces around JD5 that are going to continue the success that they've had this year. So, in Adam Peters' mind, it might be a rebuild, but the results have sort of dictated that you're changing your path, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the term they used all off season was retooling, and I think that's a good word. They just changed things up, but they showed that the 3 to 5 year rebuild plan that like Ron Rivera brought, just that doesn't exist anymore. You don't, if you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. Recalibrating. There you go. Yeah. So those rebuilds, that's a thing of the past. You can do it quickly. Now, if you nail the quarterback like we appear to have done, it's a lot easier to do. But you saw Philly do it a couple of years ago. They went from just that garbage team in 2020 to a playoff team in 2021. And they've stayed up for the most part. So, yeah. Speaking of Philly, I think we got a game this week.
We do have a game this week against the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles, who got off to a relatively slow start this season. At least I know the quarterback did, because I remember posting about how Jalen Hurts looked relatively bad in the beginning of the season. He has since figured it out because they have figured out their running game. They have figured out how to play defense, at least to a high enough level that allows them to be in every single game. They are first place in the NFC East by a half a game right now over us. They have had their bye week. We have not. Which, by the way, I think we're limping into the bye week in about 4 weeks. We need that thing badly. They are led by Jalen Hurts, but in all actuality, they are led by Saquon Barkley, who is fighting with Derrick Henry for the best running back in the league right now. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry, has 6 touchdowns, and he's averaging 110 yards a game right now. Averaging 110 yards a game. Dude is off the charts. Jalen Hurts has about just under 2,000 yards passing, and my guy has 12 touchdowns, 5 picks. So his numbers aren't really far exceeding Jayden Daniels, but he's doing a good job of managing the offense and leading the team. A.J. Brown is their feature player. In the offseason, they added Jahan Dotson. We know too well. He has basically not been a factor in that offense so far, but there's no telling what he might be able to do at some point. Then, of course, you have the ultra-fast Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert is their tight end, along with Calcaterra as well. So, Eric, our resident offensive coordinator, what are the Eagles going to look to do against us, and who do you think are going to be the folks that make the difference for their offense?
Yeah, that offense of the Eagles, pretty potent. There's a lot of star power on that offense. You mentioned the guys, Jalen Hurts at quarterback, very mobile. He can make things happen with his legs, and if you give him time, he can do things with his arms. Saquon Barkley has kind of been the cog that makes the machine go. This year, he's having a phenomenal season right now. A.J. Brown, the stud wide receiver, has been dealing with some injuries this year. He looks like he's finally getting healthy. Devontae Smith actually still hurt. He may or may not even go this week. I know he missed practice yesterday. Didn't get to see the practice report yet today. So we'll see about whether Devontae Smith is in. Dallas Goedert, the new and improved Zach Ertz. He's just a younger version, very solid tight end. He's killed us in the past. They've got a lot of weapons to deal with. The offensive line has looked pretty good. I believe they just got back their left tackle, Jordan Mailata, they activated him off IR. I don't know that he's going to play yet. I think he's in that window, so he may not play. So you've got Fred Johnson over there on offensive line, but the O-line has done fine this year. Yeah, they're built around Saquon, like you said. They're going to try to run the ball, and they're going to let Jalen Hurts pick his spots, basically. Kellen Moore has kind of settled in nicely as the offensive coordinator. He's been kind of a pass-happy guy, but he seems to have accepted that Saquon's his best offensive player right now. And, that's we've got a lot to deal with. They've been putting up points like crazy. all season long, especially on this 5-game winning streak that they've had. But yeah, I think they're gonna, they're not going to change anything they want to do, because I don't think our defense scares them that much that they feel like they need to, just surprise us. It's going to be a lot of Saquon Barkley, sprinkle in some Kenneth Gainwell, and then look for big plays in the passing game, just like they've done all season long. So we'll see how our defense does about it, but that's more Mike's department. But yeah, Philly's a problem on offense for sure.
Yep, they are. Well, we're actually 6th overall in defense. I saw that on social media today. Maybe John Kine put that out, that we have the 6th ranked defense in the league.
6th overall or 6th ranked passing?
I think it's yardage allowed overall, 6th least yardage allowed this year, I believe. Their passing attack goes through AJ Brown, though. Like when AJ Brown was hurt, Jalen Hurts struggled quite a bit, right? Or not. I don't want Philly fans. I'm sorry, I don't mean quite a bit, but he definitely is not as good of a quarterback without AJ Brown. So hopefully we can put St. Juiced on him and let him lock him up. And just, sorry. I don't think
Lattimore. That looks like what's going to happen. Yeah,
but if we can find a way to slow AJ Brown down at all, I think it really works to our advantage. So speaking of which, Mike, defensive coordinator that you are, how are we, the Commanders, going to play this Philly offense?
Pray. No, I'm joking. No, I think they meant 5th in passing yards per game, because overall the defense is ranked 14th in yards per game at 324.9, which is better than I expected. Like I think I said in the beginning of the season, like top half would be good. Like 16 or better would be good. 20 is acceptable, but right now they're 14th. But I just feel like they're not as good as the numbers are saying, man. And I really hate to break it to y'all, because like you want to be happy, but anytime a team needs a play, they get a play. No matter who the player is. It could be the 3rd string receiver. It could be the 1st string receiver. The backup running back get a 20-yard gain on 3rd and 13. And because of that, Thursday could be a nightmare, man. I highly doubt Lattimore is making his debut on Thursday night. So we're going to have to put St. Juice on AJ Brown. And as much as I would love to be optimistic in his chances of stopping him because of AJ Brown not being a technician when it comes to route running and not being precise with his movement, he's more of a physical receiver, which should line up in St. Juice's wheelhouse, but he's awful at playing the ball when it's in the air. Like, just awful for an NFL quarterback. And that spells doom. On top of that, we can't stop the run against mediocre running backs. And we're about to go against the hottest running back in the league, even though he let me down last week in fantasy. But he still got a cool 66 rushing yards on the Cowboys and another 12 on receiving. Obviously, Philly didn't need him to do much against the Cowboys, and that could hurt us. Like, we are in trouble on defense because there's not a linebacker that can stick with Barkley one-on-one. And then when you throw in Hurts' running ability, like, it could be ugly on Thursday. I'm hoping that coaching can kind of get us in position to make the plays that we need to play. I'm hoping St. Juice understands that his career might be on the line Thursday night, national TV. If you get cooked again, it won't look good for you. I'm hoping that motivates him, but I don't know, man. It's not looking good at all.
Yeah, I think there's so many matchups that make me nervous, because if you put BSJ on AJ Brown is physical. What is BSJ's one of his problems? He's too physical with the receiver. So he's going to get baited into that physical contact and pick up at least a couple of PIs like he does every game. And then A.J. Brown will just run right by him. And then you can't put him on Devontae Smith. Lord knows he doesn't have the athleticism to keep up with him. So what do? Do you put Sanders Trill on Devontae Smith? I don't know. Like Joe Witt's going to earn his paycheck this week. That's for sure. Whose offense is better, the Eagles or the Steelers?
I say the Eagles' offense is more explosive, but the Steelers' offense might be more proficient. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'll go with that. They have,
because
the Eagles have more diversity on offense, I think, than what Pittsburgh did. Pittsburgh is very much like they have power running backs and jump ball receivers, basically, is what they do. Whereas
really
Philly has, Philly's kind of a pick your poison offense because Devontae and AJ are such different players. Saquon is just a freak at running back. I think Russell Wilson's a way better quarterback, personally, than I think Jalen Hurts is. Yeah, but it's toss up. I think both are very good offenses.
Y'all think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts?
We don't hurt Ellie's feelings. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
really?
I really do.
So even last year in Denver, like with all the adversity with the horrible coaching situation, not as good of receiving core, it's not like Wilson was looking like Drew Lock out there or like Brock Osweiler or whatever. Like he played decent. Like even against the game versus Washington, I think he threw 4 or 5 touchdowns against us last year. Like Wilson clears Hurts easily.
Because Wilson, Jalen Hurts, there are things that he can't do as a quarterback. And Wilson, you don't really have that.
That's the fact.
And Wilson can beat you over the middle. Wilson can beat you in multiple ways. Jalen Hurts has not proven that he can throw consistently over the middle to beat people. And teams figured that out last year and started pushing everything to the outside. And they didn't have a good enough running back to make teams commit to something else and completely eliminated Jalen Hurts. And he has yet to show that. So I would like to see that happen tomorrow night and see if they can take away the outsides and force him to throw over the middle. And you'll see, because, Washington's defense on defense, the outside is the weakness, unfortunately, with Washington. The corners are the big weakness on that defense. I mean, there's holes, but corners is just a chasm. It's terrible. But the safeties have been pretty solid for the most part this year. Jeremy Chin, I felt, had a great game last week. So unfortunately, I don't think we've got the chops to make him do that. But that's how I would do it, and that's why I think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback.
I think when you have the dimension of Hurts' ability to run, it gives the edge to Hurts.
You think Russell can't run?
No,
I mean, he can't run as well as Jalen Hurts, but I mean, he's mobile.
Yeah, I'm about to say he can't run like Hurts.
He runs around, but he's not.
I mean,
Hurts is still a glorified running back. Ooh. He's what people said Lamar Jackson was for years. I mean, I think that's what Hurts is. He can throw, and he can beat you with his arm, but he's basically like the reason he's so much better when A.J. Brown is there is because A.J. Brown can compensate for some of Hurts' deficiencies as a quarterback. I hope Philly fans are in this chat too. I still have very little as a passer. I have very little respect for Jalen Hurts. Sorry, and he'll make big throws. I'm sure he'll throw 2 or 3 touchdown passes, whatever, because they're going to be like deep shots down the field that A.J. Brown's going to go up and get, or Devontae Smith's going to run under or come back to and then make a move. That's what his touchdown passes look like. So. Yeah, Jalen Hurts as a passer does not impress me. Not that he's not an effective player, not that he's not a very good player in this league, but if you can take away some of what he does well, he's not going to beat you.
So Russell Wilson has 13 yards rushing this year. He doesn't run anymore. He hasn't had over 350 yards rushing since 2020. Like
I'll take useless quarterback stats for 500, Alex. I couldn't care less how many rushing yards a quarterback. I can't make that clear enough. Right. I am in the minority on this podcast. I 100% agree. I couldn't care less about how many running yards my quarterback has. I love that Jayden is mobile. I love that he can pick up yards when he has to. He could have 10 rushing yards all season and he'd still be a good quarterback. I don't care about rushing yards for a quarterback.
It matters in this league, and that's how Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will try to take an advantage. All right, flip the field. What's our offense going to do against the Eagles this week? I don't think we're going to have Brian Robinson. Is he practicing? Brian
Limited,
Robinson?
listed as limited today, so practiced a little bit.
Okay.
The bigger concern for me on offense is that both left tackles were limited participants in practice now. Cornelius Lucas still dealing with that ankle injury. Brandon Coleman, that dude's he's a fantastic tackle when he's healthy, but that dude is just always hurt. He's got a shoulder injury now, so he was limited in practice today as well. I don't know what Andrew Wiley looks like. I didn't see where he was on the injury report today. I don't need to see another full game of Trent Scott at right tackle. Unless he's catching passes from Jayden. That's all I want to see out of Trent Scott. But yeah, it looks like we might. That's a bigger concern to me than Robinson. Obviously we saw Robinson would have been really helpful against Pittsburgh last week. Would love to have him against Philly, but Philly's is a really good run defense anyway. They're going to stuff the run regardless of who's in there. They're not going to get gashed. Well, I'm not saying they're not going to get gashed, but it's going to be tough to run against Philly. They're really stout up front. 3-4 defense traditionally is hard to run against anyway. But yeah, Brian Robinson will certainly help. So hopefully he will be out there, but the lack of tackle, the trouble we're having at tackle right now is very concerning for me. Jayden Daniels is going to have to rely a little bit, maybe more on his mobility. And you saw Pittsburgh did something that nobody else has done this year. I don't know if you noticed that, but Pittsburgh didn't let him, like when it was like automatic all year when he would do that little spin move and escape out of the pocket. It was automatic. Pittsburgh did not let him do that. They even sacked him one time on that, which killed a drive right after that interception. That really killed it. So that's going to be something to think of because, from an athleticism standpoint, Philly's defensive line is as good as it gets. They've got studs on the D line, really big, strong, fast, powerful guys. So that's going to be, something to keep an eye on. And Terry is going to do his thing. He always does. I don't care. Darius Slay is dealing with an injury as well. Terry, I think, claimed him on his taxes this year anyway after last season, so I ain't worried about that. But Terry does well against the Eagles in general. If we can get some other production out of some of the other wide receivers, Noah Brown was a big kind of, he made some nice grabs last week. I think Ellie said it in the text chain. He's like, why does he make every catch look hard? But he does. He makes things a lot harder than he needs to be. And he dropped, he had a big drop in the fourth quarter. We need more out of him, or Zacchaeus or somebody else needs to step up to be that second receiver. And maybe we'll get a Ben Sinnott appearance this week, or we'll get some tight end production. Zach Ertz has been fine, but he's, he is what he is at this point. He's not going to kill you after the catch. He's going to basically catch the ball and get tackled. So yeah, the weapons, they've worked against lesser teams. We'll see how they work against a better defense this week. But yeah, so I'm not worried about Terry McLaurin. I think Jayden Daniels is going to do just fine. As long as he gets enough, I think Cliff will scheme up something where he'll get some time to throw. And he did well against Baltimore. He did well against Pittsburgh for the most part. That completion percentage against Pittsburgh wasn't great, but there was like 6 drops in that game. That would have helped a lot. So hopefully, he can make some throws and the receivers can actually make some catches this week. But yeah, the game plan is going to be the same. You're going to stick with the run, whether it's working or not. That's going to allow Jayden to get some passing lanes, and then he'll make plays with his legs when he needs to.
Yeah. And we didn't see it. I wonder how healthy those ribs are for Jayden. What do you guys think? Do you think he's fully healthy and recovered from that rib injury?
He's not going to be all year, but I think he's fine. I don't think it's bothering him too much. I think he can manage it at this point.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how much he runs with those SEC defensive linemen that the Eagles have. So Georgia and Alabama, that's what they got on that defensive line over there. So, Mike, what's the Eagles defense going to do to try to slow down Jayden in this potent offense?
I think they're going to rely on their front seven. It's a pretty, I would say, famous front seven. If you go by names, you got Jordan Davis, you got Jalen Carter, you got Huff. Can't think of nobody else off the top of my dome right now, but like they're talented. Like you gotta give them their due, man. I think they're ranked pretty high in points per game, maybe in the top 5. Yeah, they they're a good defense, man. They got some rookies. They got a youth movement going in the secondary with Quinion Mitchell and DeJon Cooper. I know we wanted at least one of those cornerbacks to come here, but Eagles grabbed them both. We even traded one of our picks for them to grab. I think it was DeJon that they grabbed with our pick. So yeah, they got a youth movement going in that secondary, man. They got my man Vic Fangio coaching them up. It's going to be challenging, but I think Washington has proven that they can move the ball on anyone. I think we've reached that point of the season. It's happened versus lesser defenses. It's happened versus a Steelers defense that's pretty solid, a Bears defense, even though they've been getting cooked recently, the defense is still solid. So I don't think Philly can do too much that the Steelers didn't do, simply because that they just don't have the players that the Steelers have on defense. They don't have a Fitzpatrick. They don't have a Patrick Queen. They don't. I don't know. Maybe Hayward is. Maybe Carter and Davis together can be Hayward, but I don't know. I just feel like with this team, with this offense, nobody can truly shut us down. I might be jinxing the mess out of us, but I feel like, yeah, the offense, even with the injuries on the offensive line, it sucks to hear that Brandon Coleman injured his shoulder. I did not know that. So that sucks to hear. But the team played the Steelers and the Ravens, probably the two best defense that they faced this season, without their starting running back, and they scored over 27 points versus both teams. So, yeah, I think the stats proves what I'm saying. They will move the ball on the Eagles. They will score some points.
I think, yeah, I mean, the Eagles, like, I don't want to sleep on the Eagles players that they have at each level.
I ain't sleeping on them.
I think they got pretty good. I'd compare them to some of the athletes they have on the Steelers defense. They just don't have a JJ Watt that's that good, in my opinion. So, but the Steelers can play some too. Or I'm sorry, what did I say? JJ? Sorry, TJ Watt. I'm sorry. TJ Watt, yeah. Who actually might be better than his brother. But anyway, but it is going to be a challenge. It will be a challenge indeed. And I think Eckler played a heck of a game last week. I think he's going to have to do the same thing, but I think you can't get away with his usage rate being out of the backfield so much. I think you need somebody, McNichols or Rodriguez, to step up if Brian Robinson can't go. All right. Let's talk about key players. Eric, who's going to be the key player in this game?
Will Shipley. No, that was my guy in the draft season. No, I love Will Shipley. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to say Jahan Dotson because he's a bum. And he'll score 3 touchdowns, but no. Actually, I was going to say Jahan Dotson, so I got to check real quick. Give me 1 second. My guy this week. Oh, I got you. A name on defense that maybe you don't associate with all those superstar studs, but is a baller and a half. Linebacker Zach Bond. Don't know if you guys are keeping. You're going to know his name. That guy's a baller. He's a stud linebacker. That guy's going to be all over the place. He's going to play very well this week, and he's going to create problems for Washington. And that is a name. You know, you look at all those Georgia and Alabama guys. I don't know where Zach Bond went to college, but I know he makes plays at the NFL level. So they're going to have to. That's a guy they're going to have to keep an eye on, because if he has a game like he's been having the past few weeks, yeah, this is going to be a problem this week. So Zach Bond, linebacker from Philadelphia.
I'm gonna look it up. It says he went to Germana. No.
Go
Zach
Bearcats.
Bond went to Wisconsin, as a matter of fact. So
okay. Yep. And then Big Ten linebackers, they do things in the NFL.
They do all right. Absolutely. Mike, who's going to be your key impact player this week?
Man, I'm going to go with St. Juice, man. I'm going to go with Benjamin St. Juice. And like I was getting to earlier, Like, I really feel like his career might be on the line on Thursday night. And I get it. Like, I hear people saying, well, he's playing well most games and he's doing this and he's doing that. But time and time again, time and time again, he's given up huge plays at the worst possible time. Like, soul crushing plays, whether it's a defensive penalty or a touchdown or whatever. For how good he plays in the 90% of the games, that 10% that he messes up is a really, really damaging to the team and the defense.
Right.
So I want him to step up. Like, I want him to man up. Like, play, like, shut him down. Lock AJ Brown up. Like, do it. I know it's easier said than done, but damn, like, come on, bro. Like, we need to see because I really like the dude, like, off the field. Like, I like his vibe or whatever. So, like, I'm rooting for the Bama, but you can't keep giving up touchdowns and penalties on third down, man. Like, you can't any down, but definitely not third down. And I'm hoping, but I'm not expecting.
Yeah, his good games are the ones where he doesn't get called for pass interference because the ref just doesn't call it because he does it pretty much every time he's grabbing somebody. Oh, Benjamin, we love you, man. He's a big fan of the podcast too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he hates our guts. But anyway, my player of the game is Deron Payne. I think if he can control the middle, we haven't had that like signature Deron Payne dominance game yet, right? It's all been he's had some good snaps, some good downs, he's made some good plays. I want Deron Payne pressuring the quarterback like nobody's business. I want Deron Payne stuffing the run so that those announcers are calling his name every 5 minutes on a broadcast. That's what I need from Deron Payne. So we'll see if we get it though. Eric, give us your score prediction for this game.
Well, a lot's been made of the Commanders' record because of the schedule that they've played. A lot of people say that they haven't really beaten anybody. And to an extent, that's true. Now, you look at like Arizona's come on recently, but they were not playing well when Washington played them. You know, Chicago was playing well when Washington played them, and they're playing like doo-doo since then. But for the most part, I will agree with that. However, nobody's talking about the Eagles. Everybody likes to talk about the Eagles' 5-game win streak. I wouldn't exactly call that a murderer's row of victories. I don't know if you've noticed who they've been playing on this 5-game win streak, but I'll rate it off to you. Since losing 33-16 to the Buccaneers, they have beaten the Deshaun Watson-led Browns, the New York Football Giants, the toothless defense of the Cincinnati Bengals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Dallas Cowboys, with a combined record of like, I don't even know, but it's as bad as the Commanders' opponents' combined records. So 7-2 first place, you got to give them their flowers, but maybe it's not as impressive as we think. That said, they are a very, very talented football team. But I think the Commanders are a very talented football team. The wild card in this game for me is the Thursday matchup because those Amazon games are just weird. They're hard to predict because just weird stuff happens. Players are tired, not fully recovered from the previous games. You never quite know. And that is why I'm going with the Commanders to take this game. It's going to be like, I'm going to go 28-24 Commanders just because I have no respect for Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. I said it. 28-24 Commanders.
At Eric in your comments, please, when you're watching this Eagles.
Please do. Please do. I want the smoke, Philly. You put Cheese Whiz on your sandwich and call it a signature. Get out of here, man. Actually, I really like the town Philly. I do. I've been there several times. It's a great town, but seriously, Cheese Whiz.
Underrated pizza in Philly as well. I've been there.
They
quite
do.
A bit.
You're correct.
Yeah. Mike, what's your score prediction?
I remember we went to Philly a couple of years ago, beat them on Monday Night Football. Kind of a shocking win. I feel like Thursday we might get paid back for that. Like, I just don't feel good about Thursday night. So that's why I'm picking Philly 31, Commandos 27. We're going to keep it interesting. This team is not getting beat down like that or given up. But I think at the end of the day, the home energy, the continuity, it might just be too much for us to handle.
Okay. I'm going to say this is the reversal of the Monday Night Massacre. I think that the Commanders have a coming out party on national TV, or I should say on streaming services, excuse me, Amazon Prime. We're going to go up there and we're going to demolish the Eagles. Okay. I'm thinking 44 to 9. I don't know how that's possible
Oh, wow.
with that offense, but
Statement
this
game
is
right
going to
there.
be. This is our moment, guys.
Saquon Barkley gets lost on the way to the stadium.
Yes. This is our moment right now. Okay. I would love it if that happened. No, but seriously, I think it's going to be something probably like Eric, you said it before. Thursday night footballs are so unpredictable, right? And usually one defense plays horrible and one offense plays okay. Like it's rarely is it ever a good game. I'm going to say that we find a way this week. I think we're going to score 33 points, and I think the Eagles will score 17, and then we're going to get out of there relatively healthy on to the next week. So that's my prediction. So, all right. Any final thoughts, Eric?
Jalen Hurts stinks. No, actually, he's a very effective player. He's just not a good quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Philly, you know what to do. Mike, what are your final thoughts?
I'm just expecting fireworks on Thursday night. It's going to be a lot of energy from both teams, and it should be one of the better Thursday night games of the year.
What was last week? Thursday, or the Bengals and the Ravens, right? Or,
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be
I
a
don't
dud.
think it's going to top that, but it's not going to be a dud, and it's not going to be 44 to 9. I don't know what y'all tripping off of.
It's the Mountain Dew. All right,
It's going to be 44 to 10.
Yes, 43 to 11. But no, it's going to be fun. I don't know if it'll be a high quality game, given the on our part, we were in a absolute dogfight with one of the best teams in the league, the Steelers. The Eagles, not so much. They cakewalk the Cowboys, and they've had their bye week already, so they should be the fresher team. Let's see what happens, though, because Thursday brings about some strange things. Looking forward to it, fellas. If you made it this far, make sure you are subscribed. Tell your friends about our podcast. Share us anywhere where you can share podcasts, because we'd love to have them listen to. Commanders Declassified, we are out of here. See you Sunday.